Prodigy. Guy paints his fingernails.
This working together thing, not bad, right?
You're gonna do as I say.
Sure thing, Obi-Wan.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 action comedy Old Guy. The film is directed by Simon West and it stars Christoph Waltz, Lucy Liu and Cooper Hoffman, the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Right, the film focuses on Christoph Waltz's character Danny Dolinsky, who is a 30-year veteran and he's a hitman. Now, at the beginning of the film, he has been on sick leave, I suppose. He's had to have like a hand operation. He's got acute arthritis in his hand, his shooting hand, but he wants to get back to work. However, his bosses basically want to go younger across the board in regards to hitmen. So the only job they've got for him now is to train up a hitman prodigy called Wilborg, played by Cooper Hoffman, who is something of a Gen Z enthusiast, but he also has an incredible knack for killing people. He reluctantly teams up with him, Christoph Waltz, in order to try and show him the ropes, and they have to kind of take out some Irish gangsters who they're at war with, his London bosses. However, things don't necessarily go well, and they have to kind of rely on each other to kind of get through it in one piece. Right, what are my thoughts on Old Guy? Well, I saw this one kind of floating about, and I like the idea of this one. I like Christoph Waltz. I think he is an incredible actor. Obviously, you know, he was such a fantastic find, you know, when Quentin found him and put him in his movies. And his charisma and acting ability just kind of shone through in those movies. And he's pretty much the best thing in every movie that he does, generally speaking. He's so watchable and such a fantastic actor. So I was really interested in it for that reason. You know, him playing like this aging hitman, trying to put, guide a younger hitman kind of through the pitfalls and, you know, struggles of being a hitman. So I just like that whole idea of it, really. Almost like a buddy cop thing, you know, because they're constantly at each other's throats, if you like. You know, the Cooper Hoffman character, you know, Wilborn, doesn't drink alcohol, you know, he paints his fingernails, he's very woke, which is ironic, really, when you consider that he kills people, you know. And he doesn't have any qualms about doing that. He's just a little bit too sloppy and careless with it, which is why Christoph Waltz's Danny Dolinsky is there to try and show him some finesse. The trouble is, he doesn't have a lot of finesse in him himself because he's a little bit peeved that his bosses, the powers that be, don't trust him anymore. After 30 years of him never messing up a job, he still thinks he's got something to prove. So he's not really fully on board with training this young hitman. He wants to still prove what he can do. So you've got that friction between the two of them. You know, you've got old versus new, old ideas versus new ideas. And it's a similar story in a sense of, you know, lots of friction. Two people that think completely differently, but eventually have got to work together to kind of get through it. And that's kind of where we're going here with this film. When you actually kind of analyse the film, there's not a great deal here in regards to a story. You know, you've got the London at war with the Irish, and you know they're over in Ireland taking out these targets. And if the film doesn't do enough with that, you know, you've got this unique kind of location sort of thing, and never really fully explores it, never really uses its environment as, I don't know, a fun place to kind of set the film. It feels like it could have been set anywhere, this film. You know, even though it's kind of set in London and an island, it feels like it could be, you know, Prague or Paris or New York or anything like that. It doesn't, you know, it's almost like the location didn't matter. And it feels odd that it's in Ireland for the most part. None of the characters seem to suit. And then you've got Lucy Liu, who plays, is it Anata? Something like that. And she's basically a friend of Christoph Waltz's character, who he's got a bit of a thing for. She doesn't necessarily. But this is Lucy Liu, and she's got absolutely nothing to do in this film. I couldn't for the life of me figure out really why she was there. Didn't make sense to me. Surely to goodness, if you've got Lucy Liu in your film, you've got to give her something a little bit better to do. She used absolutely nothing of, you know, substance to do in the film. There are some interesting action scenes, you know, they're done quite well. If, you know, there's a comedic edge to some of them, especially with him when he's gunshots. I mean, with his arthritis and his hand, he can't shoot straight, sort of thing. There's a couple of comedy moments there. A couple of comedy moments, like I say, with the back and forth between the two of these hitmen. But it's not what you would call a side splitter or anything like that. It just, you know, the comedy really comes from, you know, Christoph Waltz's inability to kind of understand the youthful persona of this young assassin, almost, you know what I mean, and the intricacies or, you know, warbles of his personality and stuff. So that's kind of where the comedy kind of comes from. And I use that term comedy lightly because there's not a great deal of comedy here, really. I think Christoph Waltz tries to do the best he can with what he's given. But even he can't, if you like, make this character light up the screen. He really does try, but unfortunately, he kind of can't make this character come alive in front of our eyes and make him something that he's not really. And unfortunately, he's not a particularly well written character. And then we've got Cooper Hoffman, and I didn't have a clue that he was Philip Seymour Hoffman's son until I kind of, like, you know, watched the film and then did a bit of research, looked at the cast and stuff. Nice to see him obviously doing some acting. His father was such a fantastic actor and a great loss. So this is a difficult one to kind of rate, really. I didn't dislike the film. I just don't think it was anything particularly special. You know, it wasn't overly memorable for the action stuff. It wasn't overly memorable for all the comedy stuff. The performances were nothing overly memorable. It's just a very watchable kind of action comedy, really. It's not one that I think anybody's going to watch and, you know, be raving about or anything like that, but at the same time, offensively bad or anything like that. So, yeah. A decent way to pass 90 minutes of your time. It's not gonna, I don't think you'll feel like you've wasted your time because, like I say, you've got Christoph Waltz in it, so that's enough for me most of the time. So thanks for checking out this review, guys. I hope you found it useful. I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very soon.